So back around 2005, 2006, I was making YouTube videos, and the idea was, you know, here I am, a person with a flip phone that allows me to shoot black and white video of really low quality. But I was excited by it because my life had wound up on the rocks. My life was a disaster. It's all, I've never known any other way to live. When I was a kid, we changed addresses all the time. I went to something like 16 different schools. Well, we went to one school twice. I started at one school, changed schools 16 times, and then ended up back at the first school. It's just rubbing it in, isn't it? It's just adding salt to the wound. Well, the kids at that school remembered me from prep. The first year of school, they remembered me from that early. And later that year, my return year, many of them turned on me and I experienced bullying on a level that, I mean, I'd experienced it at every other school. I'd even been part of it, being a bully. But I got an extra special experience. What point am I making here? My childhood, my life from the get-go has been chaos and madness and bad vibes and then worse vibes and then vibes that are just, you know, terrible. Lots of people's lives are hard. I still think shit's funny. I've always thought shit was fucking funny because it's ridiculous. When the experiences of your life are chaos and madness, and it doesn't matter what you do or don't do, the one consistent thing is the chaos and the madness. And it doesn't matter if you're a good boy or a bad boy, you cop the same amount of shit. And of course, if you don't know, you're autistic for several decades, for a few decades, for a bunch of decades. When you have no idea all that time that you are autistic, that you are neurodivergent, the fun never stops. My whole life, even though I've experienced all sorts of amazing things and done all sorts of amazing things, it has been a sense of things are just about to start. It's like my life is okay, I can feel that my life is going to start now properly, and then it never does. I've been told that a late diagnosis of autism, what comes with that is that I will have an extended period of grieving for all of the things that didn't happen and all the terrible things that did happen and how my life could have been so different and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know, because I think it's funny. Look, when I was 7 or 8, my parents started to break up. They broke apart. They were breaking apart long before they actually separated. They were having a terrible time. My mum, for some reason, got on a 747 and flew from Australia to London and never returned. And no one's ever explained to me what happened. My father, who took over the parenting role, would say to us, "What's your problem?" Parents break up all the time. But I was the only child of a breakup that I knew whose parent had ghosted completely. You know, I was an adult before I even realised how bad that was. But this is not me trying to, hit you with a bad vibe story, like I'm having a bad time, like I'm experiencing all sorts of grief and sadness that can never be resolved. I've been processing my grief all my life. I've been dealing with it because when you're one of the billions of people on this planet who suffer unfairly, you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn to somehow be cool with your suffering. If you look at the Buddhist perspective, this place we're in, this is the realm of suffering called samsara. There is no escape from suffering. In fact, why would you even try? You just got to fucking live with it. Just try to be cool. Just try to be cool for once in your life. So I've had people saying to me, there's going to be possibly some sort of grief coming down the pipe for you as you realise the sadness of autism. I mean, not the autism, but the way what happens when you are autistic. For me, my autism experience has been one of not knowing what the fuck's going on, with people. Well, I mean, that's not true. Okay, so humans are herd animals or social animals, herd and or social animals. We're social creatures. We love to be around each other. We vibe with each other, man. It's fucking great. We're social animals, but if every human was just purely social, if there were no different people, you'd end up with a species just becoming sort of more emotionally sort of stunted and sort of inbred. It couldn't go anywhere and it couldn't change because social demands and social conventions and, all that horrible shit that keeps us together. That would become so suffocating that there would possibly be no such thing as an individual at some point. The human race would eventually become pretty fucked up. Now, I know you're thinking, well, actually, I don't know what you're thinking. I know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that the human race is obviously pretty fucked up. Yeah, we've been going through tough times for thousands of years. So neurodivergent people, autistic people, ADHDers, are different. Can't really work out how to fit in, or it's an incredible amount of fucking work to fit in socially. People who can't fit in and people who like to be alone and people who spend a lot of time trying to work out what's happening often do stumble across or even create all sorts of insights about the human condition and then bring them back to the group and share them, and the group generally goes, I've got no fucking idea what you're talking about. However, neurodivergent people are generating these insights, and this is helpful for the species Homo sapiens. And this is a sort of a theory I've pulled out of my ass just in the last few days. I don't know if it's fucking true. I just vibe on shit, man, I just look at things and go, no, I don't like it. Couldn't even tell you why, it just shits me. Go away. I like that though. I have no good reason, but just my instincts are telling me this is good. Which is not to say that, I don't have an intellect, but I think what I'm trying to say is that after a lifetime of failing to explain what I mean to people, after a lifetime of trying to explain what I mean to people, because I am fairly constantly having ideas that come from my autistic aloneness. On some level, I don't want to do that anymore. In a way, okay, I've learned that I'm autistic. That's fucking sick, unreal, good. That explains everything. Now I'm going to reboot my YouTube fucking shit with the understanding that, I'm autistic. That's why this shit never went anywhere. And that's why I behaved so strangely and why I didn't understand what people wanted from me. I want to do autism advocacy, basically. I don't even like the sound of the word autism advocacy. It sounds official and it sounds like something I should be being paid a lot of fucking money to do. And I think this is why I've been dealing with just chaos and madness my whole life. Everything turns to shit. And what I've had to learn to do is take shit situations and say, no, actually, this is a fucking opportunity. I can change what I'm doing to suit this disaster. I will grab all these pieces of wreckage and build something new. I'm creative, this is what I do, this is my territory. And I think that's what's happening with me now with the autism thing, is that I'm simply seeing it as something else that's new, that I have to deal with, that I will. And it's the first time I've been given news that, for a lot of people it would be grief would be the reaction to learn, oh, great, I've got a fucking disability, I've been disabled all my life, and that's why my life is fucking stupid. But for me, I don't know. Is it got to do with being like a comedian and an artist and I don't know. Who cares? I care. People who've been watching these videos care. The numbers aren't huge. It's not thousands and thousands of people watching this shit, but the few that are, I'm getting amazingly strong responses. So it tells me, yeah, this is the way to go. Autism advocacy and feeling good about it. I feel really good. I feel really good. I'm sorry. I know the world's fucking terrible and terrifying and becoming increasingly more so every single day you are presented with news. I got out of, often I'll start the day in bed, I'll flip open the laptop and just start looking at things, looking at the terrible world, the news, catching up on what horrible things are happening. This is before I get out of bed. It's like I'm presented with all this shit, and then at some point I go, oh, fuck this, I'm getting out of bed. I'm getting out of bed. This is bullshit. So, I'm all about news, current affairs, politics, words, information, ideas, concepts, looking at a world that is fucking awful, but I do get out of bed, and I'm having a really, I am so much freer because I learned that I was autistic. A huge weight has lifted off my shoulders. So, I don't know what to say to people. Sometimes just knowing what's happening makes you feel really good. Just having information, just being made aware of what's going on in your own life is enough. Don't know, I don't know what else to, I don't know what else to tell you. So that's good.